Hi, it's Bruce Robinson here again from the Fathering Project. One of the things I love about having played a lot of footy is all the friends I've made. And we often say that to dads, that you want your kids to join a local sporting team because they have lifelong friends. The other day I caught up with the wife of one of my old footy mates and we talked about catching up for a barbecue with the daughters. But to be honest, my mate won't be there. And that's because some years ago he developed a mental health problem and struggled with it. And then one night it was just too much and he went down to the beach, took his shoes off, swam out into the water and drowned himself. Folks, if you've ever had a friend do that, you'll know what I mean. First of all, you're desperately sad for the family because, of course, it doesn't get rid of the problem, it just passes the sadness onto them. And secondly, you feel guilty. Could I have done something, and I've done something more? He became one of the 7 men in Australia, the 7 people in Australia, almost all men, who take their life every day. And that's just the tip of the iceberg on depression. So, and you know, why are we talking about depression in a Fathering Project video? And it's because it affects the whole family. It affects the whole family. Given that half of all Australians will experience a mental health challenge at some point in their life, and that includes your kids, and your partner and you, 50% chance, then it's important to be able to learn to think about it and talk about your feelings, to develop good mates that you can talk about this stuff with, and to identify these things when they happen. So I'll talk about a few of the clues that you might be struggling, beginning to struggle or already struggling. The first is feeling sad or just down for extended periods of time. You just can't control your negative thoughts and you tell yourself off because you're having negative thoughts about everything. Second is you're losing interest in activities that you once found to be a lot of fun and pleasure, and you don't have any motivation to do them. The third is you're having trouble sleeping. You can't get to sleep, or you're waking up during the night, you're waking up early, or you're sleeping too much. We do struggle as blokes to express our feelings, I think, and I'm always been one of those as well, and I've learnt over the years that it's so important to do that. There's lots of things we could say about depression, but I just want to say one of them. It's about your mates. Unfortunately, in Australian society, we don't really share with our mates our feelings because it makes us look weak. And I've experienced that my whole life, not just football, workplaces and all sorts of other places. Been just as guilty of it. But I've got a great tip for you. Well, the first tip, this isn't an obvious tip. When you're listening to your mates, they always drop a hint. So you say, oh, how's work going? Oh, I struggled a bit during COVID, but trying to get back on our feet now. Typically in Australian culture, we boomerang back to ourselves and say, oh yes, I had that too, and my brother had that too. Right? So that's not a criticism, it's just how we do it. So here's the tip. Ask the second question. So instead of boomeranging back to you, oh yeah, I had that too, you say, oh gee mate, that must have been tough for you. And he might say, well, oh yeah, but I'm soldiering on. Go back to your second question. Yeah, but it must have been tough for you, mate. I'm your friend, I want to know about it. Another one might be, oh yeah, I'm going fine, but my wife's had a lump in her breast and you know she's getting some treatment, so we're just going fine. Again, don't say, oh yeah, my sister had that and she's fine, you know, because you say that to encourage him. Say, second question. She had a lump in her breast, mate, that must have been scary. You must have been really frightened. How's it going now? How are you going now? Oh mate, I'm good, you know, no worries. I said, mate, second question again. How are you really going now? I'm your friend and I want to know. That is a brilliant suggestion. It works a treat. Ask the second question. And people always drop hints. They always drop hints in their conversation. Even though men don't share, they drop a hint. You listen carefully, they'll drop a hint about their work, their kids, their partner, their life. Maybe it's their life. They're feeling like a bit hollow. They've been working for 20 years and it's not giving them the meaning. They'll drop a hint. Ask the second question. And that'll make you a good friend instead of just a friend, a good friend instead of just a mate, or an acquaintance, and importantly, it can make the difference in terms of their mental health and yours. Thanks for listening.